Hey there, this is Ben Silverio at the International House for the Philadelphia Asian American Film Festival. At opening night, we had a chance to talk to a bunch of filmmakers, including the director and some of the stars of the opening night film, someone I used to know. Let's check out the interview. How did you all get involved with this film?
Well, Wes Liang is the writer of this film, and he got together with a producer named Eddie Mui, who's also an actor in the film. And the two of them sat on the screenplay for a while, and then I met Wes at a party. He'd seen my short films at different festivals, actually, and so he sent me the script, and I liked it, and so I kind of teamed up with them. And then from there, we started building the team more, and then we kind of got Brian on board as a producer as well as an actor. And so we had sort of our core team ready, and then with that, you start building.
Yeah, I think that name, Eddie Mui, you're going to hear out of all of us. He's the glue who brought us all together. I'm a friend of Eddie's for many years, whether I like it or not. But he was very persistent. He kept calling me and emailing me, hey, I got this script I think you'd be perfect for, and really want you to take a look at it. So, it all started with Eddie, and here we are. So.
Yeah, that wasn't a joke. Eddie Mui. I was at a screening of another film at another festival, and Eddie came up to me afterwards. And at this point, I'd known him for years. When I moved back to LA in my early 20s to be an actor, Eddie was one of the first people I met. So I've known him for many, many years. He came up to me and he said, I'm producing this movie, and there's a part in it for you. And I didn't think too much about it until a couple months later, he finally called me and said, remember when I was telling you about that movie? I'm sending you a script. And so he was just really persistent, and I ended up in the movie.
So Nadine, you've done a lot of short films, but this one is feature length. What were some of the challenges of moving from the short to the feature for you?
Well, it feels sort of the same in the sense that the challenges, you're always fighting budget and time. With a feature length, you sort of have that a little bit more responsibility in like a money sense. Like if there's more money resting on a product that you're creating, then you really want to either make it back, or you want to make people happy to the point where no one's wallet is gonna hurt. Aside from that, I think that I always learn and grow with any film that I do. So whether that's a short film or a feature length film, there's a learning curve, there's growth, a lot of room for growth. And the challenges, while they're always the same challenges, but they take shape in such different forms, and they come up differently. And a lot of times, filmmaking is problem solving,
Right.
So, yeah.
So one of my favorite parts of the film was the shrooms scene. I was wondering how fun and what it was like to shoot that for all three of you.
I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun directing it. We came up with certain nuances on the spot as well. So I won't name names, but there are some of us who had experience either secondhand or firsthand with it. That can be, and it kind of helped with the translation onto the screen with that. And then aside from that, just letting actors, kind of bring in their own charm into it.
Yeah, well, I'd never done shrooms. God's honest truth, and I still have never done shrooms. So, no, really. And so for me, it was all about taking direction and, watching people who've done shrooms and just doing what an actor does and processing that. But it was a lot of fun shooting that scene, even though it wasn't real shrooms that we were doing. And seeing the final result. Actually, the final result was a lot better, let's put it this way, than what it felt like when we were acting it out. Because I think we'll all agree when you're acting it out, you're like, I don't know what we're doing. It feels kind of, you put it out there, we'll see what happens. But then in the editing room, when they put it together, it winds up looking, the way it did. So amusing.
I really don't have much to add. I also have never tried shrooms, so any time you're called upon to do a scene that involves alcohol or drugs or whatever, you just have a discussion about, is this, does this make you speedy or does this make you tired, or, it's just whatever. You just talk it through. And
Awesome. So you two as actors, try to embody your characters. And I was wondering, what about your characters specifically did you connect with the most?
Wow, that's a tough question. I mean, clearly it was, being a superstar actor. No, I think it was, the reason I was drawn to the character was because even though I'm so far from what Luke Chen is all about, there's something about him, the way he's written, that I think every Asian American male, or most Asian American males, I should say, want to see themselves in some way, shape, or form. Especially if you work in media and you are, just nose to the ground, working hard and hoping to find success along some way, right? So even though I'm not anywhere near Luke Chen, I think if you were to ask any actor pursuing the dream, like, you go to Hollywood, what do you want out of this? I don't think it's fame or fortune, but I think it is success in that you can build a living off of it. You can not have to worry about, at least certain things in life. And so it was fun to kind of dream about that, and actually embody that for at least, for an hour and a half on screen. So I don't know what that's like, but I think in another world, just having kind of feeling that through and getting to play it was something that I enjoyed.
I think that just if I can sort of be very specific, I just really loved that it was about this guy and his friends, and sort of my character has sort of an idea of how the night's going to go, and it doesn't go that way. And so it's all about whatever, your friends, and how sometimes you're like super pleased with them, and how sometimes you're super pissed at them, and how even over the course of the evening you can meet new people and just have all these new and interesting interactions. And I just really love that part about it.
So finally, what do the three of you hope that your audience gets out of this film when they're walking out of the theater?
I always imagine people to think about their own friends, and also about their own sort of standing in life, and how happy or how sad or how discontent or how content they are, and what it is that they can do to improve sort of that happiness level, and if that happiness is already very high, how to maintain it, and also to anticipate that there will be bad times coming up, and that it's okay, that it's going to happen, and if we have friends that we can rely on or that we can fall back on, then it's going to be okay, So I think in the end, with all these struggles, it should be sort of a reflective, coming out of the theater, reflective and humored at the same time. It's a fun story.
I think I have a secret hope, let's call it, because I think we're still working, as a society to get there. That people walk away from a film like this and go, you know what, that had nothing to do with the fact that they're Asian. It's a group of friends that any of us could relate to. They go through their trials and tribulations like anyone else. And you know what? I want to tell people to go watch this movie, or I want to see more movies like this that just happen to have characters that are Asian American. And so that's, I think, out of anything, what I hope people walk away from, and obviously putting on my producer's hat, I want them to see the film, and so that we can get an audience and, start making some money back on it. But that's really what it's all about, is making stories that are universal and can be shared with audiences no matter what your background is. So, I think we're a ways from getting to that utopian, sort of mindset, but that's what I want.
Hi, I'm Nadine Truong.
I'm Brian Yang.
I'm Rex Lee.
Of Someone I Used to Know.
And you're watching Pretentious Film Majors.